The St. Louis Cardinals had a great start to their season with hits, homers, and highlight defense. Let's dive in. Obviously, the big news, Pujols got his first home run back with the St. Louis Cardinals. It happened yesterday, and it was amazing. Take a look.
And now it's Albert Pujols. In the air. Out to deep left. It is gone! Welcome back, Albert. It's like you never left. Number 680. And he does it back in St. Louis.
It was crazy. That was home run number 680 for Pujols. He's number 5 all time, right behind A-Rod. If he hits 20 more, he's in that 700 mark. That's going to be insane when that happens, but it was so special and fun to see him hit that home run back in the Cardinals uniform where he belongs. And that stadium went crazy. It was just like when I was a kid watching Pujols on TV. His batting stance is back. And I mean, that home run was a no-doubter. It was just an absolute bomb. It went so high. You knew it was over the fence the moment he hit it. It's so good for him to be back. It gives me chills. And if you're not excited about this, then you need to go take lessons on getting excited for Albert Pujols home runs because it was awesome. This week's comment contest. Let me know your funniest story about falling or tripping. I was on a charter bus one time. There was a person in the bathroom. We were in a city, and as soon as they opened the door to come out of the bathroom, there was a red light. The bus driver hit the brakes really hard, and the person came flying out of the bathroom and ran all the way up the bus and then ended up tripping at the front and skidding. They were okay, but it was really funny to watch them zip by. Tell me your funniest story about falling over and make me laugh. And the best one, the one I like the best, the one that makes me laugh the best, I will pin it. You'll be pinned on my video forever. It's the most amazing prize that you're offered today, most likely. Comment below. I want to know your funniest falling over or tripping story. And if I love it the most, I'll pin it. I had the privilege of going to the opening day game in St. Louis. Man, was that wild. The stadium was packed. It was so much fun seeing some of the old Hall of Famers in the Cardinals organization. I got to see Mark McGwire, Willie McGee, Ozzie Smith, Ted Simmons, Jim Edmonds, Scott Rowland, Mike Shannon. There were so many amazing guys there. I think there were 16 or so Hall of Famers that came back, and it was a lot of fun seeing them up there on opening day. Highlights from that game, O'Neill, Edman, and Arenado all had bombs, and that was a blast to see. The stadium went wild. It was crazy. But, of course, the highlight of the day was seeing Yadier Molina, Adam Wainwright, and Albert Pujols all back together playing Cardinals baseball. That's how it should be. It was so much fun. Wainwright had a stellar day. He had an ERA of 0.00. He did not allow a single run, and they just absolutely wiped the floor with their opponents. Yadier Molina caught a guy stealing at second base, which was always fun to watch. And of course, the big man himself, Albert Pujols, came back. He didn't exactly get a hit, but he got to first base on an error, and I think he got walked. The stadium went bonkers, and it was crazy. Also, the guys' bathroom line at that stadium was the longest I've ever seen at any event. There was like no line for the women's bathroom, but the guys' bathroom line was really long. I'd imagine the beer had something to do with that. Please don't subscribe. Whatever you do, please don't subscribe. I hate it when people subscribe. Do not hit that subscribe button. Definitely don't subscribe, okay? Okay, we got it. We're good. Our guy, Nolan Arenado, earned the National League Player of the Week in the first week of the season. He had 2 homers, I think 7 RBIs. He had a lot of offense, and he had some really good defense as well. And last season, while having a 34 homer season, he was still unhappy with it, which most guys would be thrilled with the 34 homer season, by the way. He was still unhappy because he only had a batting average of 255. So he wanted to increase his batting average, and he's obviously increased his offense so far this year. In the offseason, he made some adjustments with his hands to get to the ball quicker, and it's obviously paying off. He has a .471 on-base percentage. He has 3 home runs and 9 RBIs so far in just 4 games this season. So I know it's early in the season, but he's off to a really hot start, and it was cool to see him get the National League Player of the Week award last week. Someone asked me recently what I think other pitchers can learn from Adam Wainwright. I think there's 3 things they can learn. Number 1, Adam Wainwright said last year in an interview that he goes into games with the standard, with the mindset, with the goal of pitching 7 full innings. That's his standard. If he does less than that, he views it as subpar. If he does that, he views it as he hit the standard, and if he does more than that, that's great. But 7 full innings pitched is his standard. A lot of pitchers nowadays go in and you'll see them pulled after somewhere between 4 and 6 innings. Now, obviously, if you're having a bad day, it makes sense that the manager would pull the pitcher out. But a lot of pitchers don't have that mindset that 7 full innings pitched is the goal. A lot of them have the mindset that 6 full innings pitched is the goal, but not 7. But Adam Wainwright has that 7-inning mark in his mind. It's kind of an old school mindset from what I understand, but I think it could really help players out. And here's why. If a pitcher can go 7 full innings in a game without getting pulled from the game, it means that he did a pretty good job for those 7 full innings. So that means that he's given the team a chance and that there's only 2 innings left that are not up to him. So if a pitcher, like I said, gets to that 7-inning mark and pitches 7 full innings, even if he had a rough inning, it means he probably did well for that time. So that leaves 2 innings where it's up to the bullpen. So that's a great chunk of the game that pitcher gave as a quality part of the game where he minimized the offense from the other team. It's a great standard to have 7 full innings pitched as your goal. And Adam Wainwright does that, and I think more players should do that as well. Now, in order to get to 7 full innings pitched, you need to make sure that you don't pitch too many pitches per inning. Most pitchers, in general, get pulled from the game somewhere between the 70 to 100 pitch mark. Somewhere in that range is typically when pitchers get pulled from the game. Obviously, there's exceptions to the rule. If you're having a terrible game, you get pulled sooner. If you're having a great game, you might go over that 100 pitch mark. But as a general rule, most starting pitchers get pulled somewhere between 70 and 100 pitches pitched in a game. So if you think about it this way, you want to get to 7 full innings and you want to keep your total pitch count somewhere between 70 and 100. That means you should be pitching somewhere between 10 and 14 pitches per inning during that time. So somewhere in the range of 10 and 14 pitches, if you can keep it in that range, obviously less is even better, but reasonably speaking, 10 to 14 pitches, if you can keep it in that range, you'll be golden for those 7 innings. So think about it this way. There's 3 outs per inning. If you want to go after the batters and attack them, then you need to be pitching no more than 5 pitches per batter. But ideally, you should be somewhere between the 3 and 4 pitch per batter mark. So pitchers should go into the ballgame with the mindset of, I need to pitch somewhere between 3 and 4 pitches per batter. It takes 3 strikes to strike out a batter. So you have, in theory, 3 strikes and 1 ball. That's your comfortable range that you have per batter. 1 ball. So with that in mind, it's very important for pitchers to attack the batter. What I mean by that is go after the strike zone. A lot of pitchers these days will try to throw pitches and make it steer outside of the strike zone and get batters to swing at it. That's a fine strategy, but if you do that too much, you're going to waste a lot of pitches. You'll rack up that pitch count and you'll get pulled from the game sooner because you use so many pitches so quickly. So Wainwright attacks batters and he does that really well. One other added element to that, if you can get batters to swing and hit the ball into the field and get out before that 3 or 4 pitch mark, then you've saved yourself a couple pitches. So a great way to do that is to get ground ball outs. Ground ball outs are pretty fieldable. They should generally become outs. And the best way to do that is to keep the ball low in the strike zone. So this brings me to my next point. Accuracy. Accuracy is so important. Adam Wainwright does this so well. He is a master of accuracy. A lot of pitchers favor speed over accuracy. They'll try to blast that fastball by you, and that's a fine strategy that can work, but if you do it too much, you're going to end up sacrificing accuracy for speed. A lot of those guys who try to blast the fastball by you will end up pitching quite a few balls during the game, and that adds up to the pitch count. So for starting pitchers, accuracy is really important. Generally, you want to pitch the ball low in the strike zone because that induces more ground balls. More ground balls equals typically more quick outs. More quick outs means less pitches thrown. Less pitches thrown means you can get further in the game and try to hit that 7 innings pitched mark. Woo, that's a lot to say. So, built on the foundation of accuracy as the most important thing, obviously speed has its place, but accuracy is the king. If you focus on accuracy, you keep it in the bottom of the zone, You try to keep your pitch count low, so you go after the batter, you attack them, you try to throw strikes again in the bottom of the zone. Then the result of that is that you should have a longer period of time where you can pitch and hopefully get to that full 7-inning mark. If pitchers did that more, I think they could look more like Adam Wainwright and be more successful. So that's my take on what pitchers could learn from Waino. There's always exceptions to the rule. Tell me all of them in the comments. I love to hear exceptions to the rule. Let me know what they are. That's my general opinion on what I think young pitchers could learn from Adam Wainwright. Takeaway for today's Cardinals recap: when the Cardinals lineup is good, it's great. The Cardinals are pretty stacked top to bottom. They have a lot of stud players. There's a few links in there that are question marks. Paul DeJong is one of them. Last year, Paul DeJong didn't have a great year. In 2019, he had a 30-homer year, and I believe he was an all-star that year. Last year, he wasn't that great. He made some adjustments in the offseason. He saw a hitting coach, and I'm hoping that we're going to see a lot more offense from Paul DeJong. If we do, he will be a solid element to that lineup. Yadier Molina is not going to have a super high offensive production, but Andrew Knizner, who hit a home run yesterday, is Molina's backup catcher, and we're going to see him playing more this year. So I think the catcher spot in the lineup is going to have a good amount of offense this year as well. Bader has been working on getting better. He's been a question mark in past years. Tyler O'Neill obviously had a breakout year last year with 34 homers. Dylan Carlson, the Cardinals' #1 prospect a couple years ago, he got second place, I believe, for the NL Rookie of the Year. He's been stellar this year. Tommy Edman, who was the Cardinals' leadoff hitter last year, had 168 hits. He's typically batting in #9 so far. I think he's going to do amazing. So when the Cardinals lineup is firing, when it's good, it's great. You've also obviously got Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado thrown in there somewhere. And of course, the DH spot, which quite a few times we'll see Albert Pujols in there. So all that needs to happen for the Cardinals to be great in their offense is those question mark guys to be good. If those question mark guys can be good and have like a high 2-something average, like 275, 280 average, it's going to be really hard to get through each inning without the Cardinals doing some damage to you. The Cardinals have talked this year about, they call it giving them no breathing room. They're giving the pitchers no space to say, okay, this guy coming up is not very good. We're probably going to get him out. They want each player to be a stud, and they want each player to hit a lot. So in summary, when the Cardinals lineup is good, it's great. So all they have to do is make sure those question mark guys are consistent and have a good average, on base percentage, etc. this year. If they can do that, they'll be amazing. My pick for the player to watch this week is Nolan Arenado. The guy's on fire. He already has 3 home runs in only 4 games of the season. Keep your eye on him. He's going to keep producing offense for the Cardinals. He's going to keep getting hits, probably some more homers, and he's just going to be the star we know he can be. You know what it is. It's tip time. There's a phrase I like to say, and that is motivation follows movement. So many people think they have to get motivated in order to accomplish something, but oftentimes, if you just start doing it, you'll get motivated. So if you have a to-do list, do the first thing, you'll get motivated, carry that motivation on to the next items, and you'll be golden. You're welcome. And he's safe.